Hey you guys, so today I thought we could do something very special. I am getting hitched. I'm getting married in under 3 weeks. I'm shocked and concerned. A lot of you guys have been asking me to do a bridal makeup tutorial. I had a little think about it. I was like, do I want to commit to this? Don't know. A lot of commitments going on. Not feeling very committed. Not in a divorce kind of way. Okay, this is becoming so wholesome and wonderful, and can't wait for brides to watch this. Okay, cool. Anyways, I am stressed. I thought about the premise of doing a bridal makeup tutorial, and I was like, that's going to be a lot of things to talk about and film. So here's what I'm gonna do to make it more digestible, mostly for me, because I assume that you all have, high functioning brains and feelings, and I don't. I'm gonna do, this is the worst intro I've ever done. I'm gonna do bridal skin tutorial, and then potentially, if I end up getting my act together and filming more before the wedding, also a bridal eye tutorial. And then you can just pick and choose as you like if you're also getting married. Okay, great. Let's do this. I'm gonna clip my little hair out of the way. One would assume I could have brushed my hair for this tutorial, but I'm a wife now and nothing matters. Oh, maybe I'll get a special new beauty blender so that I'm not being disgusting. Hold on. Okay, so my plan for skin, that's car so loud. Okay, so my plan for skin is obviously glowy. Okay, that's my only concern. I don't even care if it lasts. I'm gonna try and make it last by using some more long-wearing products, but I just want to look damp, okay? Is that too much to ask for? I don't think so. So my skin's already prepped and ready to go. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Becca Under Eye Correcting Concealer and put that under my eyes to make up for my severe lack of sleep. I love that shit. I just feel like this brightens up my eyes so much, and it really does help kind of like correct that under eye area without making it overly discolored, you know what I mean? Because a lot of color correctors are a really intense peach or salmon or whatever. And so this one just has like a little bit of that tint, but it's mostly brightening. So it does kind of color correct, but you're not having to go on top of that really intense bright coral or whatever and try and color correct that coral after the fact. It's just sort of neutralized so you can go over top with your concealer like normal. So next I'm going in with my concealer. I'm gonna be mixing some because this one's a little bit lighter, and then I'm gonna take my Oma Beauty one and put a little bit of that down as well because it's a little bit darker and a little bit more peachy. And I like to start in the center kind of thing and then blend towards my inner corner and then back out towards my outer corner and then onto my contact as well, apparently. I like to do my concealer first just because I feel like it creates kind of like a more flawless base, whereas if I do my foundation first and then do my concealer, I find a lot of times, even if you have a good color match, it's kind of resulting in like this intense, like bright under eye that just looks separate from the rest of your foundation, and I want it to kind of blend seamlessly into one another. So I like to start with my concealer and then move into my foundation. Just gonna put a little bit of concealer over my eyes. Okay, now we're gonna move on to the foundation. So I'm going to be mixing my foundation, of course. I always mix my foundations, I love it. I just find that by mixing my foundations, I can kind of customize the finish that I want, the coverage, all that kind of stuff. So I always end up mixing them. The two I'm gonna be mixing today is the Joe Fresh Daily Boost Fluid Foundation. I've liked this foundation for a really long time. I kind of stopped using it for a while just because I was using other things. But I'm gonna mix it because I think the color will match better. And then I'm gonna mix it with my Oma Beauty foundation. So this one's a little bit light for my skin right now. I'm gonna mix these two, and then I'm gonna mix that mixture with a moisturizer. So the Oma Beauty is a little bit more of a fuller coverage than I typically go for. So I wanted to kind of be able to sheer that out both with the other foundation and with the moisturizer. I just find whenever I mix my foundations with a moisturizer or a serum or whatever, they blend way nicer onto my skin. They don't look as cakey. They wear a lot better, which I think it seems kind of counterintuitive to a lot of people to mix it with a moisturizer. But for me, I just feel like I like the appearance for longer of the foundation when I mix it, whereas if I just put the foundation on by itself, sometimes I like the appearance right when it's on or whatever, but towards the end of the day, I find that it looks so kind of like dry or just not nice on my skin, so I always like to mix it. So I'm gonna take that and hope that the color's good. And I'm gonna use my little e.l.f. 105 brush for this, so I have really, really been liking this brush. I just feel like it does a great job of blending everything out and applying kind of like a lighter coverage because I don't like having a full coverage right on my first kind of application. I would rather go in with a more sheer coverage and then add more where I need it later. I don't like to work backwards. So I just kind of dot that all over my face, and then I will go in and actually buff it on with a little bit more pressure. Whoop. A lot of people have been asking me for like updates on the wedding, just like information. People want to know information about it because I haven't talked about it very much. Before we jump into that, I'm going to take my beauty blender and just press it into my skin to kind of get rid of excess product, but also to just press it into my skin. So I'm going to do that while we talk. So Matt and I got engaged last May, and we weren't planning to get married for quite a while. We weren't in any rush by any means. We were more likely planning to do kind of like a 2020 wedding, if that. And even that was seeming not likely at one point. But basically, we've been to a couple weddings together throughout our relationship. And I feel like after every wedding, we leave and we kind of discuss it and we're like, what would we do differently? What did we like about that wedding? Whatever. And so we had just gone to a wedding I think it was in May of this year. We had gone to a wedding. We were down in Mexico. And after being at that wedding, we had just had some more conversations about it. And then when we came home, we were just like, let's just do it. I mean, fuck it. So that was how we decided that we were doing it. And then we decided for the beginning of August to make it as stressful as possible. So here we are. We didn't get a wedding planner. I did it all myself. We are having it catered by one of my favorite restaurants downtown. It's going to be a very, very small wedding. I think there's going to be 38 people there total. We're not doing bridesmaids and groomsmen. What else are we not doing? Anything basically that's traditional. We're pretty much just signing a paper and then eating. So yeah. Basically the whole thing for me and Matt is that we just wanted something that was going to be easy and not stressful for everyone else that's attending. We just want people to be able to come and enjoy each other's company and enjoy the night kind of thing and not have it be some huge production. So we're just getting married at like a family house and it's gonna be in the backyard garden, and I'm decorating it all with a bunch of flowers and stuff, and the dogs will be there. So there you have it. That's that. I feel like that's really the only information I can give you because that's it. Oh yeah, a lot of people have been asking about my wedding band. I'm gonna powder my under eyes whilst we talk about that. Okay, I'm gonna take my Hourglass Veil powder and I'm gonna grab that on my little Smith 131 brush, and I'm just going to press that underneath my eyes. I like to tap off all that excess so there's very, very little product on that brush so that it doesn't get cakey. It will set your makeup. You don't need a ton of powder if you don't like the appearance of that. It will still hold everything in place, keep it all together. If you are oily, you could totally powder your whole face. I'm not intending to do that. Sometimes if I'm wanting it to wear a really long time, I might powder certain areas that I know come off quicker. So like my nose, my chin, stuff like that. And I might end up doing that on the day, we'll see. So usually I just apply it and then I will touch it and make sure there's no tackiness anywhere. And if we're all good to go, then I'm done powdering. Maybe I will do a little bit in other places. So people were asking me about my ring. I did get my ring changed. So basically we just changed the setting. We got a thinner gold band, which is going to match my wedding band, which we had custom made in Vancouver. I had the wedding band designed based off an Anna Sheffield design, which is a designer that I really like. She makes really unique kind of jewelry that's really cool and pretty. So that was kind of the idea. The only reason we had it custom made was because there's nowhere anywhere near me that sells that designer, and if you order it into a retailer, you just have to buy it, and that's kind of it. So I was really nervous about getting it and having it be the wrong size or having it not fit with my band properly. You guys will see what I mean once you see the wedding band, but yeah. That's that. I'm liking the look of this foundation so far, I think. Let me get a mirror. Yeah. I think what I'm going to use for my bronzer is the Cover FX bronzing drops. So these aren't available anymore, but they are lovely. So I'm going to be using that, I believe. Oh, that was probably even too much. I just really like the color of this one. I've always really liked it, and I feel like it blends out really, really nicely. So I think this might be the one. I was thinking about using the Westman Atelier contour stick because I really like the color of that one. But I have noticed that sometimes that looks a little bit more kind of like ashy in photos than I want it to. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to risk that. And I always really like the way this one photographs because it always looks really nice and tanned and pretty. I'm just trying to get into the mirror here. So I think I might be using that guy. And I'm definitely not wanting my skin to look structured at all. Like I'm wanting it to look quite like soft and nice. A lot of people asked me if I was gonna do the reverse foundation technique for my wedding. I don't know, honestly, the jury's out. Things could drastically change the day of. I have no idea what I really, really wanna do. I'm gonna be basically trying out a bunch of different products and styles and just kind of seeing how all of them, like just really paying attention to how all of them wear throughout the day and going from there. But ultimately, I'm just kind of at a place where I don't really care what my makeup looks like at the end of the day. Not like I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it looks like literally at the end of the day. Like if it's kind of coming off towards the end of the wedding or whatever, I mean, it'll be dark, you know, no one's gonna call me out on it. It's my freaking wedding. So that's what I'm doing for like my bronzer and contour. I'm not wanting to make it super harsh or structured. I want it to be really nice and bronzy and kind of glowy. So I think that's kind of where we're at there. For my blush, I'm going to be using the color Pinched from Flower. I really, really like this formula. It's very glowy and pretty and nice. And I like this color because it just is nice and like almost neutral. It's really pretty. I always forget how sheerly this applies. I'm going to rub that kind of onto my finger first. And I'm just going to tap it onto my cheeks, bringing it back into that bronzer contour. And then take my little sponge and go over top. So I feel like that already gives the skin like a really nice kind of glow. It adds just a little bit of color. Not anything crazy. Because we will be outside in daylight, I want to be conscious of the colors I'm choosing and not choosing anything too bright or too crazy. So I don't want to go for a blush color that's going to be more dramatic, like a more really bright coral or anything like that. Just because sometimes when you step out into that daylight, it looks good in here. You go outside and it looks like the brightest, pinkest blush ever. So I'm just going for a super, super neutral palette, kind of like standby colors that I know don't look off no matter what lighting you're in. So that's why I would kind of opt for a color more like that, which is just super easy. It's predictable. Love it. For my highlight, I just don't know. I don't know what to do, but I was kind of playing around with all my highlights today, and I was mixing a bunch on the back of my hands, and I liked the way it looked when I mixed the Becca Moonstone and Becca Champagne Pop together. So these are both the like liquid formula of those highlights. So I'm gonna mix these two and just see how I like it. This is just trials, you know, we're just figuring it out as we go along. So one little pump of Champagne Pop, one little pump of Moonstone. Let me give those a mix. I just love a mixed product, man. I really do. Oh wow, this looks like an angel. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any other fun details I can give you for the wedding, but I don't know. Okay, I'm really pressing that highlight into my beauty blender. I'm not just like tapping once, I'm pressing it in there so it's nice and evenly distributed. And then I'm just going to tap that all on the flow. I can't not sing that every time I do that. I'm gonna tap that over top of my cheekbones in kind of a C shape. So I don't like to bring my highlight too far down onto my cheek. I just feel like it looks a little too intense. I like to kind of bring it around to make it look nice and soft. And I'm gonna see how that looks in the mirror. Oh yeah, that's a pretty color. So another thing that I'm avoiding is a really silvery colored highlight. I don't want anything that looks too bright. I don't want it to look too intense. Whenever I was doing bridal makeup as a makeup artist, I always really recommended going for something more classic, more neutral, because trends really come and go. And I think if you ended up doing, like, let's say a really, really intense blinding highlight because that's what's popular right now, you may look back at your wedding photos and be like, what was that about? So I'm definitely going to choose a highlight that has a little bit more warmth to it, something that's gonna look a little bit more natural on my skin, not something that's gonna look really cool toned or ashy or intense. And I'm keeping it concentrated right around that area so that when you kind of move, it will catch in the light really nicely. But when you're looking at your face, when it's not caught in the light, it doesn't look like you're wearing this intense like strip of highlight. It's just when you kind of move around, you get that glow and that, you know, highlight popping out, which I really like. I really like those two mixed. I think that's really nice. And then of course, I'm gonna add my little beauty mark. So I just use Anastasia Dip Brow for this. And I just go boop, right over top of my beauty mark. I feel like that's honestly where I'm gonna leave my skin. I like that it doesn't look too intense or anything like that. I like that it's just a nice, light skin look. I'm digging it. So you guys, that is going to be more or less my wedding skin. I will hopefully have another tutorial up for you guys of what I'm planning to do my eyes like, but I'm not completely sure what I'm planning to do my eyes like. So we'll just have to see how that turns out. I'll get back to you. But I'm really happy with the look of this. I don't feel like it looks too intense. I don't feel like the bronzer looks too harsh or anything like that. Same thing with the blush and the highlight. I just feel like all those colors work together really well to have a really nice kind of neutral look. It's not gonna look weird once I step outside. It's not gonna photograph poorly. So I think this combo might be a winner, but I'll probably do some little playing around throughout the week as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me in today's festivities. I can't wait for you guys to see the dress. I think you'll really like it. But if you don't, I don't care because I do. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Peace out.